Hello everyone and welcome to this session. So this is the second part of the series of Jmeter Beginner tutorial, and in the first video we saw how to install Jmeter on Mac and Windows and how to start Jmeter, right? Now, assuming that you have seen the first tutorial of the series and you have Jmeter already installed on your system, let's begin how to create your first Jmeter test. Okay, so we will go very basic step by step. So it's kind of a beginner tutorial. So I'll be doing stepwise demonstration. So the very first step is you have to start Jmeter. Okay, so as we saw in the last tutorial that if you are on Windows, you just have to go to your Jmeter folder, bin folder, and you will have a file called jmeter.bat, and when you double click it, run it, you will see some logs and soon you will see the Jmeter window coming up, and it is just loading the window and you can see Jmeter has started, and this is the home window of Jmeter. Now if you are on a Mac, you have to do the same thing. Go to terminal and go to your Jmeter win folder. So my Jmeter is installed. I have kept my Jmeter folder here at uh, desktop tools Apache Jmeter, and I'm going to my bin folder, and here in the bin folder you will have a file jmeter.sh, and corresponding to jmeter.bat file that we had in Windows, we have jmeter.sh, and we have to say sh jmeter.sh, and it will do the same thing. It will start Jmeter window, and you can see this is our Jmeter started. Okay, now as we have already discussed that Jmeter is a Java application and it does not matter the operating system you are using, it will behave the same way whatever OS you are using, whether it's Windows or Mac OS or whatever. So we need not worry about the operating system you are using and the operating system I am using to record this video. Okay, so although I am using Mac to record this video, but as I have shown you that even if you are using Windows, the only difference is how you start Jmeter, and rest of the things are exactly the same because it's a Java application and it is platform independent. Okay, so let us see. Now we have Jmeter open, and this is the home window. Here you can see two sections. The left side frame, these have some elements of the test plan, and the right side frame has the configuration of that element. So if I go to workbench, I see the configuration of workbench here, and if I go to test plan, I see the test plan window and configuration here. Okay, now let us understand what is test plan and what is a workbench. So test plan is like a container which will contain all your test elements that you need to perform this test. Okay, so whether it's a request, whether it's a result graph or any kind of listeners, all will come into test plan, and we will see exactly how to do that in a moment. And workbench is a place where you can keep your elements for a temporary basis. So let's say you are creating some complex test plan and you want to keep some elements separately so that they can be referred to or used later on. You can keep all those things in the workbench and later on you can use them. But please make sure, if you want your elements to be saved, they should be in the test plan, because when you save your test plan, your workbench is not saved. So just make sure that you take care of this thing. Now let us come to our test plan. So test plan, as I told you, is a container which will contain all our elements of the test. Let me first quickly rename this. I'll say this is my first my first test plan. Okay, now you can see I have changed it here, but here it's still showing test plan. So you can click somewhere outside and you will see this will be changed. I'll click here and now you can see it is showing this my first test plan here as well. Right now, if you right click on your test plan and you go to add, you can see various elements here. Okay, and we will discuss about the most used elements, and the first thing that you have to add is a thread group. Okay, now what is a thread group? Thread group is the users that will be used to uh, create or run this test. Okay, so let me just rename this thread group as users for better reference. Okay, now it is renamed to users, and let us quickly discuss about the options it has. Actions to be taken after a sample error. So it is saying that in case there is any error, what should the test do? Should it continue, or should a next loop be started, or the thread should be stopped, and so on. And then this is the important part here, thread properties. Here is the number of users that you will use for this test, the ramp up period in seconds, the loop count. Do you want to run it forever or some particular number of loops? Delay and scheduler. Scheduler is for scheduling your test for some particular time. Okay, and we will again look at it in some details. For now, let us move ahead and do a right click on the thread group or the users, and again I am going to add, and now I have to add my request. Okay, so to add a request, go to sampler, and you will get all these options. So these are all kind of requests, and type of requests that Jmeter can handle, and you can do a performance test on all these type of requests, right? For now, let us take a very simple HTTP request. So HTTP request is a web application that we will be running. Okay, and again you can rename it. So I'm renaming it as my home page. Okay, and here you have to give the server or the IP. Okay, so let us say I want to test some website. Let us say I want to test a website known as called lifecharger.org. So I'm just copying its URL from here, and I'll paste it in this text box, which is server name or IP. Now, one thing that you have to take care is you need not give this HTTP or HTTPS, because this is a protocol and this will come into this box. So if you do not give anything, it will by default take HTTP. So I'm not giving anything. Again, you do need not give this / here. If you have a port number in your URL, you can put it here, and here you have to give the path. So I have to go to my root uh, page, so I'm just giving a / otherwise I can give the rest of the path here for my website. For example, if I want to go to some other page of this website, so I'll just copy this after whatever is after the server name, and I will copy it here. Okay, so okay, let me test with this page itself. Okay, so I'm copying it here. Okay, so now my HTTP request is ready. I'm going to do a test on this LifeCharger website, and I'm going to test this particular page. Okay, now this request is ready and I can even run this request, but how will I come to know what is the result, what happened to my request? So for that we have to add some more test elements, and those are known as listeners. Okay, so listeners are the reports or the results, and Jmeter provides us so many type of reports, right? So for now, let us select view results in table, and let us also select one more listener, view results in tree. Okay, so let us see how our result will look like here. Okay, so now to run this test, I have several options. I can go to this users thread group and do a right click and say start, or I can go to run in the menu bar and say start, or you can see a button here for starting, right? So I'll just click start, and it will ask you, do you want to save your test plan before running? As of now I'm not saving it, but you should save it if you want to reuse your test plan. Okay, now you see it has already executed, and if I go to the results, I can see there is one entry and it says that the label my homepage it has executed and the sample time is 2941 milliseconds. So this is the time this web page took to this request took 2941 milliseconds, which is approximately 3 seconds, and the status is green. So we received a response code back of 200, which is green and which is okay. This is the bytes, this is the latency is the time to first byte. Okay, so as soon as the your request starts getting the first byte, your response starts getting the first byte, that time is recorded as latency time, and this is the connect time. Now if I go to the results tree, again I can see there is only one entry here, and if I click here I can see the sample results, so it is 200. Okay, and I can see the request as well and the response data as well. Okay, so I can be sure that this test did execute and it is showing me all the sample results and response. Okay, so now because it was very fast we could not see anything. Let us do one thing, let us go to users and increase the number of threads here. So from 1 let me make it 10, and also let me ramp up the period to 20 seconds. Now what does this mean is I have I will be hitting the web page with 10 users but not simultaneously. The ramp up time is 20 seconds, so that means every 2 seconds one user will be added. So in 20 seconds 10 users will be added and the 10 users will be hitting the application. Okay, now loop count, if I click forever, this will keep running forever until I forcefully stop it, or I can uncheck this box and provide some loop count. Let's say it should run for 10 iterations or 20 and so on, right? Let me just make it forever so that we can see the results coming in real time, Okay, so I have set this. Now we already have the older results, right? And to erase these older results, you can click here, which is a clear button. Now if I click here it will clear the results from here, but the result will still be there in the other listener. So what I can do is I can click this clear all, so it will clear results from all the listeners. So now I have a clean test case and I can run it, and you can see as soon as I will click on start button, you can see this will turn to green, and here you can see the number of users being logged in. Okay, so I'm going to click this green button and I've started, and now you can see this has turned to green, and you can see every 2 seconds one user is being added. So you can see here, right, every 2 seconds one user is being added, and here the results are coming and you can see them runtime. Okay, real time we can see all the data coming. If I go to the other listener results in tree, again you can see it is running. Okay, and now because I have selected forever loop, so it will continue running until I forcefully stop it. Okay, now to stop it we have this stop button and also we have shutdown button. Now what is the difference between these two is, if I do a stop, it will forcefully stop all the execution, but if I do shutdown, what it will do is it will very cleanly stop the currently running thread, and when all the threads are stopped then only it will stop the test. Okay, so I am going to do shutdown as of now, and now you can see shutting down all test threads, and now it has stopped. Okay, so now you can see this is the results in a table and these are the results in a tree. Okay, so if I have to summarize very quickly, step 1 is we start Jmeter, step 2 is we create a test plan, step 3 we did was create a thread group, which is also you can say users. Step 4 was add a sampler, and in our case we added an HTTP request for testing a web application. And step 5 will be to add listeners, and we added 2 listeners. And step 6 will be to run the test. Okay, so this is what we did in this session. And in the coming sessions we will see different type of listeners and different type of other samplers that we can use. So if I go to if I right click on my thread group and I go to add and I say sampler, you can see there are a lot of other samples as well, right? So we will see how exactly we do a performance test on all these kind of requests and how can we visualize our results. We will also see, how can we actually record a test and then give Jmeter that test as an input and perform the testing of our web application, the performance testing, right? So this is what a very simple test case or a test plan in Jmeter looks like, and we will look at it into more deeper details in the coming session. Hope you like it. Thank you.